Okay, so how do injury lawyers work? If you just got in an accident and everyone's telling you to get a lawyer, how do you choose one? And what actually happens next? I'm going to walk you through the entire journey your case takes, step by step, from the first phone call to potentially sitting in a courtroom. We'll break down each stage so you know exactly what to expect and why. Because here's the thing, most people have no clue what they're actually signing up for. And that uncertainty can be way scarier than the actual process.
Red Rock Injury Law, Las Vegas. Rock! Solid recovery! Solid recovery! Rock! Red Rock!
So let's start with that first meeting. You made the call and now you're sitting across from me. Hypothetically, of course. But what am I actually looking for? Most people think lawyers just want to know about the accident, but there's way more happening in that room. As a lawyer, I'm basically playing detective. I'm asking about your injuries, sure. I'm also figuring out if your case is even worth taking. I'm going to be investing my time and resources into your case for the foreseeable future. And I have to make sure that we have a good outcome for everyone. I want to know every single detail about what happened, but I'm also listening for red flags that might make your case a nightmare to handle. I'm evaluating liability strength by addressing whether the defendant breached their duty of care, measuring your injury severity in terms of economic and non-economic damages, and calculating the cost of investigation based on those factors. It might be hard for me to take your case if your injuries are minor, but the case looks super complicated. If your injuries are serious, and the other driver was clearly at fault, you're likely getting a yes. I'll ask you to bring police reports, medical records, photos, basically key documents that prove what happened, and help me understand the story. The more proof you have, the better your case looks. On top of that, I'm also watching how you tell your story, because that's exactly how you'll sound to a jury later. You know how some people get all flustered when they talk about stressful stuff? I'm taking mental notes on that. I need to know if you can handle tough questions from the other side's attorney. Can you stick to the facts? Can you come across as honest and reliable? The consultation is free because I'm interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing me. I need to know if you're someone that I can work with for months or even years. I also gauge your communication needs to make sure our expectations align from the start. I review publicly available posts to ensure your claims about injuries align with what you share online. If you're posting pictures of yourself doing physical activities right after claiming you can't work because of back pain, that's a problem. I'll straight up tell you to clean up your online presence or I won't take your case. I'm also thinking about my workload and whether I have the resources to handle your specific type of case. Some lawyers focus on injury cases, others handle medical malpractice cases. I want cases that fit my expertise. By the end of that meeting, you'll know if I think your case is strong and what your next steps look like. In Nevada, contingency agreements are written and typically range from 33 to 40% of the recovery. Most firms, including mine, charge 33 1/3% if the case settles before suit is filed. Then it goes up to 40% if we file suit. If your lawyer wants to charge 40% to start out with, you might want to consider your options. At this stage, I'll also give you a realistic timeline, which is usually way longer than people expect. And if I decide to take your case, the real detective work starts. While you're recovering, I'm out there gathering the documents we need to support your case. I've looked for surveillance footage from nearby businesses. You know those cameras outside of gas stations, stores, restaurants, or the mall parking lot? I've tried to get footage from those locations. I've gotten lucky a few times and actually found video that shows exactly what happened. Besides video, I also send preservation of evidence letters to prevent destruction of footage, records, or other evidence important to your case. I might hire accident reconstruction specialists who use crash data recorders and detailed measurements. These experts look at skid marks, damage patterns, and even the physics of how the car moved after impact. This helps confirm speed or impact angles, showing if someone was speeding or if they hit their brakes before the crash. I recently used an expert to recover photos from a Toyota's electronic data recorder. The photos and speed data helped turn a word versus word liability decision into a fault determination against the other driver. My client claimed that the other driver changed their story when that driver's parents arrived at the scene. I trusted my client, and they were right. Your medical records also become crucial evidence. I request ER reports, physical therapy records, and sometimes future care plans when needed to link each treatment directly to the accident. I need to connect every injury to the crash, not something you might have had before. I'm also dealing with insurance companies, but not the way you think. I'm not just making phone calls asking for money. I'm actually building the case file to prove why you deserve compensation and letting the adjuster know just enough to make sure they set aside enough money for you. Sometimes I'll consult economists for future lost earnings calculations, like if you can't go back to your old job because of back problems, or you lost out on that promotion that you were in line to get, they figure out how much less you'll earn for the rest of your career and possibly into retirement, all based on vocational expert analysis. The whole time I'm documenting everything because I know the insurance company is going to fight me on every dollar. I'll have you take photos of your injuries as they heal. I even document how your injuries affect your daily life. This investigation phase creates the foundation that makes insurance companies take your case seriously. Without all this evidence, you'll be at their mercy. And once this file is complete, the real battle begins. I usually, but not always, start the negotiation phase by sending a comprehensive demand package. I do this once you reach maximum medical improvement. This package includes a liability explanation, economic and non-economic damage summaries, and exhibits like medical records, photos of your injuries, statements from your doctors about future medical needs, and calculations showing how much money you've lost from missing work. The insurance company will come back with a lowball offer, and this is where most people panic and take whatever they can get. The insurance company might offer you $5,000 when your medical bills alone are $15,000. It's pretty insulting, but I expect this. I know this is just the opening move in a structured pre-litigation phase that often involves multiple counter offers. I'll counter with a number, usually higher than what I expect to get. Then the insurance company comes back with a slightly better offer, and I counter again. This back and forth can happen 10 times or more before anyone gets serious. If negotiations stall completely, we'll file a lawsuit, which totally changes the game because filing triggers the discovery process, where both sides must exchange evidence under court rules. And to be clear, we are suing the person that caused the accident, not the insurance company. The only insurance company you'll have a claim against directly is your own, and that would be for breach of contract or bad faith. Now that we've filed suit, the insurance adjuster who is being difficult isn't making the decisions anymore. Now there are defense attorneys involved, and they know that going to trial costs way more than settling. During discovery, I might take depositions where I question the other driver under oath. Common discovery tools include interrogatories and requests for production. I'll ask about what happened that day, whether the driver was texting, if they've been drinking, stuff like that. I'm looking for any details that might make the other driver look worse. The insurance company's lawyers will also want to take your deposition. They'll ask you questions under oath about your injuries, your medical history, and how the accident affected your daily life. I'll prepare you for this because these lawyers are pretty good at trying to trip you up. Most cases settle before trial, but if yours doesn't, I'll present your story to a jury who decides how much you deserve. I'll show evidence of your injuries, bring in your doctors to testify, and basically make the jury understand exactly what you went through. This whole process might seem overwhelming, but that's exactly the point. Having me as your attorney means you're not navigating this complex system alone. The legal process isn't as scary as it seems when you know what's actually happening behind the scenes. I act as your guide through a system that's designed to confuse and overwhelm regular people. I handle all the complicated stuff while you focus on getting better. I know which forms to file, how to talk to insurance companies, and what your case is actually worth. Plus, I have to act in your best interest and communicate clearly under professional conduct rules. Without my expertise in evidence gathering, preservation, negotiation, and courtroom rules, you risk leaving money on the table. If this breakdown helps you feel more confident, hit the like and subscribe for more legal insight.